Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all great today. I'm live streaming this morning. I'm just about to dig into my charts and set them up for the day. So maybe you'll join along with me. Give everyone maybe a few minutes to get in or find me or something. Starting my day with my cappuccino. I'm here located in Canada. It's been a pretty cold winter, cold meaning about like minus 10 to minus 20 Celsius, and a ton of snow. We've had so much snow, it's been crazy. But today it's mild. Things are starting to heat up a little bit, which is great. Let me know in the comments if anyone is from a cold country. So it'd be nice to see someone who can relate. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into the chart and just start going through a few things that I look at, how I set up my chart. I set my chart up the same every single day. So I'm on the higher time frame currently. Higher time frame for me is the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then I usually monitor my charts on the 15-minute and 5, and then I look for an entry on the 1 minute. That's basically how I look for trades. So I'm on the daily right now, and I've got here marked on my chart the significant points of interest. So I have, starting from the bottom here, any major swing on the daily, I have marked on my chart as a buy side D, which stands for daily. I also mark my swing lows on the hourly, so the H stands for hourly. Make this a little bigger. I have two imbalances up here. One is a BISI, and it's a fair value gap between candle 1, candle 2, and candle 3. So that's an area of imbalance. I have another daily SIBI here, which is an area of imbalance. And I'm going to add another one from here to here. So that's my SIBI. And that's on the daily. So these are areas of inefficiency that price may want to come back and revisit. And then I'm looking down here and to the left to see what price might be looking for if price decides to continue dropping, which we don't know. Price could drop or it could move up, we just don't know. Okay, and next, well, I've also marked the previous day high. So all you're doing is you're going on the daily, you're marking your previous day high, your previous day low. So that's Tuesday, previous day high and low. And as well, I have on my chart the opening range gap from yesterday. We never filled it. I always keep any unfilled portions of the opening range gap on my chart. If I don't want to see it on my daily, I can just remove it from the view on the daily and keep it on the hour and the minutes. That way I don't clutter up my daily chart. It just gives me a nice clear view. Okay, so I have an order block on here. Again, I'm going to move that from the daily and put it onto the hour and minutes. We'll come to that shortly. Next, I scale down into the 4 hour. Now you can see my sessions, the days. I like to have the days of the week because it's important for me to follow kind of what's been happening for the week. So on the 4 hour, I'm looking for any areas of inefficiency, anything that really sticks out to me. I think we have most of it covered here. We've got the buy side daily, got the previous day low for Tuesday. We have our settlement price. Settlement price is the price, the previous day, it's the 4:14 candle, 4:14 p.m., and that is the settlement closing price. And the way that you can find that is by switching here, see down here, you can go on to the regular trading hours, and here is the last candle. If you move down to the 1 minute, here's the last candle that closed yesterday afternoon. That's my settlement price at 414. So that's where I get that from. I jump to the hourly chart. What do we do with previous day settlement? Well, previous day settlement is where price stopped, and then this morning at 9:30 when price starts, I'll have that opening price, and anything between yesterday's closing at 414 and this morning's price opening at 9:30 is our opening range gap. Now, I've dropped it on my chart this morning, even though I don't know what opening price is going to be yet, but I ballpark it right now, and I'll fine tune it as we get closer to 9:30. So this is my opening range gap. Wednesday, Feb 26. These are areas that price is likely to be drawn to because we haven't traded in those areas. And this is the gap from yesterday, which was never filled. So we're going to keep that on the chart because at some point price will retrace or revisit that. We don't know when. But it's just an area to be aware of, a point of interest on my chart. Optimal trade entry, I've left that on my chart from last night. I'll show you where I get that from. Let's go down to the 15-minute. Optimal trade entry is one of ICT's strategies. OTE stands for optimal trade entry, so I'll just call it OTE. So yesterday price fell pretty hard, so I took a fib from the top of that to the bottom, and then my OTE is between 62 and 79%. I just draw in a box and I leave it on my chart, and you can see that price came back into that area last night during London session. Came back into a nice discount area before beginning to drop. So the 62 to 79% is an area that price has a good probability of retracing to. So that's why I have that on my chart. Now I'll just take off the fib and just leave the OTE on there. So it's just something for me to be aware of, that in the big price drop yesterday, that a retracement could be likely back into that area, and you can see that we moved into about the 75% area of the OTE. So it's just a target, something to keep in mind. Okay, so I'm on the 15-minute chart. We've got our opening range gap from yesterday, opening range gap so far from today, and now I just want to put a few verticals on my chart. I like to look for midnight last night. So I marked my midnight. And I want to know where price opened at midnight last night. And so I'm going to just drop this. And here is my opening. It's the true day open, or you can just look for the first candle at midnight that opened, and that's the starting price. So that's my true day open. I'll mark that as midnight. And what I'm looking for is, where has price been in relation to midnight? So we have been above midnight for most of the night and early morning pre-market. So that's an indication that price will likely want to run below midnight for the day. It's not a for sure thing. It's just an indicator. It's a confluence. general rule of thumb is you want to sell above midnight and buy below midnight. Okay, then I like to put 4 a.m. because that's my pre-market start time. So I like to monitor the market between 4 a.m. and 9:30 open. So we'll just mark these as well. 4 a.m. and 9:30 open. And that's our 9:30. Checking, we've got news, I think this morning, consumer confidence at 10 a.m. I'm going to put that on my chart as a reminder. Oh, it's Wednesday today, sorry. Wednesday, we have no news today. We've got news Thursday and Friday. So it's a no news day. And I like to mark the high and low of the pre-market session, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take the highest candle in pre-market. Pre-market high. And I'm going to mark pre-market low. So far. Could drop lower, but we'll adjust that. So pre-market high, pre-market low. Coffee's important, but it's decaf for me. I've been off caffeine for about 18 months. I think it's been 18 months, a year and a half, and I just feel so much better off caffeine. So no energy drinks, no chocolate, or minimal chocolate, like let's be real. What else? Like no pop. I never drink pop anyway, but anyway, I feel so much calmer trading now that I'm off caffeine. It's made a really big difference, and caffeine was super hard to get off of. Gosh, like the headaches. I felt really sick for about a week, so that really told me that caffeine is something that our bodies truly do not want. All right, so we got pre-market high, pre-market low. We've got our 9:30 open here. Now we're going to move down to the 1 minute, and I'm going to look for areas of liquidity. So I'm going to look for the buy side and the sell side. While I'm on the 15 minutes, I just want to take a look here and mark out some areas that stick out to me. So this area here are equal lows. So I'm going to mark this as sell side on the 5 minutes. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to mark the Asia high and low. And then we'll mark the high. So Asia low. And then Asia high. And we'll do the same for London low and London high. We have come up and swept London early this morning. We swept London again at 8:30. Market on the higher time frame overall is bearish, although we had an uptick this overnight, so something to be aware of. Let's put our London high and low. So that's London high. And we're going to put London low. Okay. So those are all the key areas that I put on my chart every morning. The liquidity likes to rest above and below previous day high, previous week high and low, previous session high and low. SKF, you caught that in live. Let me know here if anyone is from a freezing cold country with lots of snow, so I can relate to you. I'm up here in Canada, so far it's been a cold, very snowy winter. Let me know if there's any people who can relate to living in a cold climate with lots of snow. Okay, so those are basically the areas that I'm looking at for this morning, and on the 15-minute, quickly scanning for any sibbies or bissies. That might be a magnet for price. Oh, good for you, SKF. I'm just shortening your name there because it's too long to mention, but good for you. Yeah, early morning. I don't mind trading early morning, kind of anything between 7 and 8:39. You're from Monaco. Is it Monaco? I was in Monaco last year. Beautiful, beautiful place. Like really, really nice. Was it last summer? No, the summer before. I was there for the big car race. Anyway, it was pretty cool. Gorgeous, gorgeous place. I was on the French Riviera and then caught a boat over to Monaco. So, all right. Oh, Morocco. Okay, on my bucket list. Yeah, I got to get to Morocco. You guys have the most beautiful markets and tapestries. So my plan is to go to Spain and then take a ferry over to Monaco and Morocco and spend some time there. I don't know when that will be, but that's on my bucket list. So thanks for joining this morning. All right, so I'm at my last final prep is I'm looking for any fair value gaps, any sibbies or bissies that might be attractive. Oops, I got two of those. And I'll just reiterate, guys, this is not a signal service. You definitely don't want to copy me. I'm still a student of ICT, and you're better off just trading your own strategy and trusting yourself and not someone else. You really can't learn by trying to trade off other people's trades. My trades that I'm generally looking for is reversals, ICT reversals, and I use Unicorn a lot if you follow my YouTube channel, and Power of 3. Is something that's significant in my trading. And then morning scalps, I use the 5-minute high and low strategy. So those are strategies that I primarily use, and it's taken me about like 18 months to, I think I've been studying ICT for 16 months, 14 months, and those are the two strategies that I like the best. Although I can trade a lot of his strategies, those are becoming my two favorites. So 5-minute Sibi on Asia looks good. Let's take a look. Yeah, that is significant. Thank you. Let's put that one on the chart. I always put the time frame of my fair value gaps, because when I'm trading and I'm on the lower time frames, I like to be aware if what I'm looking at is a higher time frame or lower time frame. Yesterday I put on my chart the hourly fair value gaps, and we were hitting them all day long, so that's it's kind of nice to keep the higher time frames on the chart. So up here, we're on the 5 minutes. I'm not going to put all of these in because I just kind of read them with my eye now, but you know, we've got this Sibi here. We've got our opening range gap, which is going to be a draw, and then below here we've got Asia low, which is a draw, and I've got my sell side on the 5 minutes down here as having multiple touches in this area. Yeah, I do have my fair value gap template. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't, but thank you, SMA, Q low, all these easy names. So where's everybody from? Anybody from a cold country? Anybody can relate to me? If you guys are from a warm country, I'm really envious. Does anybody trade opening range gap? I technically don't trade opening range gap per se, although it is a strategy that lots and lots of people use, but I use opening range gap to give me confluence in terms of market direction for the morning. Now, as per ICT, so long as the opening range gap is 100 points or less, there is a 70% chance that price will run for 50% of that opening range gap between 9:30 and 10 a.m. So I use that as a confluence. So this morning we have a premium gap, which means that price, well, it's 9:08, price hasn't opened at 9:30 yet, but so long as price stays above this opening range gap, that makes a premium gap. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes I like to play the opening range gap. Let's say I'm bullish for the day. I wait for price to run down into the opening range gap. I wait for that reversal, and then I trade it back up. So sometimes that's how I use opening range gap. So maybe people can you guys can drop into the chat what strategies you guys use. What are your favorite strategies? SMT plus inverted fair value gap. Yeah, wait for the retest and I enter my target as 12 handles. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like inverted fair value gaps as well. Are you mostly a scalper, SMA? Is that kind of your comfort level? Yeah, okay. No, it's good to know what kind of trader, it's good to kind of define what your trading style is based on your personality and character. I tend to scalp some mornings, just based on price action. But my favorite are intraday trades that are the longer trades. So anything from 30, 40 points to 150. I think my longest trade was 180 points, something like that. That would be my favorite, is my intraday trading. But I'll take a good scalp. Nothing wrong with a good scalp, especially when you see a good setup off inverted fair value gap or off an order block. Here's another area of interest. We've gone through it twice. I think pretty much every day for the past 3 or 4 days, pre-market price has swept London. Sometimes it's re-swept. I think yesterday it swept twice before dropping. Watching price reaction to this 5-minute BISI from Asia. Let's see if it repels from here, if it continues lower. I'll be right back, guys. Okay. KG 2025. Oh, thanks for joining, G. This is, I don't live stream usually. I'm an introvert. Like, I gotta be honest. I'm hugely introverted, but I'm gonna slowly start live streaming more, especially the morning session. Do you usually trade the New York AM session, or tape read the morning session, or sim trade the morning session, G? Is that your session time? So there's no news today, guys. We've got news Thursday and Friday. Coming back to retest this 5-minute fair value gap and immediately rejected off of it again. Let's just quickly take a look at ES. This is ES on the 15-minute. Question, is ICT playlist enough for a beginner trader? Well, there's so many strategies from ICT. I think you just have to find, first of all, define like what kind of trader are you? Are you comfortable with scalping? Is that more your personality, like fast, quick trades? Is your interest more intraday where you're willing to wait for the longer movements of 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 points? You know, do you have the time for that? So that's what you probably want to establish first, is like what kind of trader, how much time do you have? What's your flexibility like? What's your interest like? What's your, you know, character like? And then from there, there's just so many strategies. I studied ICT for 14 or 16 months full time. So, you know, I took the time to really understand his fundamental concepts, you know, so his blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps, how price moves. And then I spent, I don't know, another 1,500 hours just studying price action. So definitely there's something for everyone with ICT. It just depends what you see on the chart, you know, because you could put 100 people on the same chart and we all see something different. Someone sees a short, I may see a long. But what I've found over time is I have gravitated towards reversals. I think that's one of ICT's specials. And I like the opening range, 5-minute opening range movement for a scalp for the morning. That's kind of what I gravitate towards. I like to watch the London session because it gives me a really good idea of what to anticipate for the New York AM session. So definitely ICT, like it takes time to study and figure out what grabs you, what you see as a trader. I think we're all artists and we all see different things on the chart. And I think that's the very cool thing about trading, is that you can have 10 people take 10 different trades and all can be successful. So you just need to find what you can easily see on a chart, and over time you'll start to say, oh, well, you know what, I see this easily, I can find 3 trades a week, you know, that satisfies me. Get really good at 1 or 2 strategies, and then move on and find another strategy if you want to add another one to your portfolio. That's how I've done it. I'd be interested in hearing from other people, like how many strategies do you trade or what's your favorite strategy, but that's kind of the route that I took. And I was a trader for over a year before I found ICT. So I was trading I was an options trader. Okay, so the market's open. So I'm just going to go quiet for a bit because I really do need to focus on wanting to find something here. Mm. Yeah, Elias, you're right. It's a lot of wicking, a lot of retracing. I'm looking for a setup for a reversal to the downside when it's right, but there's no fair value gaps in this bearish breaker. So I'm just, listen, unless the trade comes to me, I'm not taking it. It's taken me a long time to get patient as a trader, and I still have a long way to go, but it might want to go up and re-sweep London high. But just look at the amount of wicks here. It's not great price action. And then if we're looking for liquidity to the downside, well, it's high resistance liquidity this morning. We don't have a lot of fair value gaps. So you're right. You're absolutely bang on. They're difficult conditions. So, and I don't want to give my money away. Yeah, I've got no fair value gaps in this bearish breaker, so it's low quality. I always say to myself, you know what, like if the trade doesn't come to me this morning, I'll come back at 1 o'clock and look for my afternoon trade. And we've got news Thursday and Friday, so probably better conditions tomorrow, but right now, even this morning, like I was looking, my setup for this morning is to wait for price to break above the 5-minute high, come back, retest it, and then go. But look at this retest candle here. See, it was a doji. It was not a high quality for me. It wasn't exactly clear that price wanted to continue up. So, this would have been the next candle, and by that point, I already had my buy side up here. Look at this. Look at price going. Let's take all this off. The hardest thing about being a trader is having patience, right? What do you think about the New York opening gap from yesterday? Yep. Yeah, I've got it on my chart here. Where is it? The opening range gap, we never touched it. Yeah, right here. Here's my opening range gap from yesterday. Yep, we could be headed there. Although I'd like to see, we'd really need to rip above London, because look at all the liquidity above London. We've got a rejection here on the 5-minute. When you move to the higher time frames and you start looking at the amount of wicks, like this is terrible price action, right? Like you can go out onto the street and give your money away rather than losing it this morning. Well, if we're going to continue higher, what I would want to see is, this is my pre-market high, so I'd want to see a break above pre-market high, a retest, and then a continuation. That's basically what I would want to see. But with all of this liquidity up here above London, a reversal is not out of the realm of possibility either. Okay, so we're above London. Even if I had gone long this morning off of the 5-minute break and retest, You know, I have to ask myself, like, what would it have taken me to stay in that trade with all these wicks down? Like, the probability of me being wicked out of my stop is pretty high. So, I never regret not taking a trade in tough conditions. As ICT says, you know, there's a fair value gap that's formed every 15 minutes. So, you know, in the lower time frames, there's a trade every 15 minutes. There's no point in rushing something. Okay, so let's take a look. We've broken above London. For a reversal at this point, I'd want to see like a really, really strong displacement to the downside, a retest in a fair value gap, and then a continuation or a breaker block. That's my model. That's what I'm looking for. But price seems to be remains pretty bullish. Got a 5-minute SIBI. And the rest of price action is fairly rebalanced. We're at the first fair value gap from Tuesday. So at this point, for me, like I said earlier today, my specialty, I guess, is really a good reversal. Nothing I like better than a good reversal. And right now it's 10:21. We'll see what happens in the next half an hour. But if there's nothing for me this morning, then I'll come back this afternoon at about 1 o'clock or 1:15. Yeah, Elias, I first took a course with IWT, which is Trade and Travel with Terry Eomi. She was an MIT student. I think her course is one of the best courses I've ever taken, super, super professional. That's where I learned to trade stocks and options, and I traded options for about a year. Her course is fantastic. I think it's $5,000 US. It's an amazing course. That's really where I got the majority of my training. And then for the last 16 months, I studied ICT full-time because I trade full-time. And so for ICT, I started with the 2022 mentorship. Then I went to I did the entire 12-month 2017 mentorship. That took me like 6 or 7 months to complete. It was an excellent course. And then I did his 2024 mentorship, his 2025 mentorship. So I'm pretty well-rounded, well-versed in ICT, and now I'm just finding that I love the reversals and I love the scalp early in the morning, and those are my bread and butter, I would say. I like the power of three. Sometimes I trade London, but those specifically, the scalp, early morning scalp, New York AM session, or reversals are my bread and butter now, and it's just something that I see on the charts, and it's, you know, some things are just easier to identify than other things. You know, we all see things a little bit differently, but that's kind of what I gravitate towards. But I like to keep everything in mind, and I use power of three a lot: accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And we see a lot of that through Asia, in London, into the New York Open. What about yourself? What do you study? What do you trade? What have you looked at? If I were going to take a paid course, I would take trade and travel any day. Terry is a consummate professional. She used to be a school teacher, so her course is from someone who has a background in education, so she knows how to deliver information in a very, very professional format. If you want to learn how to trade options, I think that had the most value for me was learning how to properly trade options, which I think is invaluable because options are not easy to learn on your own or through the internet. But it's $5,000, but her course is fantastic. I think she's the #1 course in the world, actually. But after her course, I still had so much questions about price action. And I found ICT to be like the PhD program in price action. So when I paired those two things, it's taken me a while, but to me, anyway, it's worked for me. It's taken me a while to get here, but I think it just depends. I'm missing my trade here. I'm talking so much. I think it just depends what kind of learner you are, if you need the structure. ICT has so much information, like sometimes it can just be overwhelming to figure out like where or how to start. But it depends, if you've got like a background and you're a good studier, a good researcher, maybe you got a background in education or something, if you can stick with ICT, I think his information is fantastic. But definitely for options trading and beginner trading, 100% IWT or trade and travel with Terry Iommi. She was top notch. So I'm really glad I took her program. Just coming up here to break of structure on the 1 minute. Anyway, I'm talking so much I missed my trade here, but that's okay. There's always another one coming, so it's no big deal. So I put that bearish breaker on my chart, and I'm going to leave it there because, as we can see, if you follow my YouTube channel, that price will come back to the breaker block generally, or there's a high probability, and you just wait for it to return to the breaker block, and then you can consider taking a short from there if price gives you some more confluence. So here's the, let me just drop this on here. This is ICT's unicorn strategy. So we have a high, low, higher, high, lower, low. The bearish breaker block is from the high to the low. It's only one candle, it's kind of small, but and then you can take the trade off the fair value gap. You could have taken the trade off this fair value gap, or you could wait. We'll probably see later this afternoon, price will come back into the bearish breaker and potentially drop again. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So we took London, we swept London, there was lots of liquidity up there, and we're probably going to be running for the sell side now because there's quite a bit of liquidity down here. We did not sweep Asia yet. Taking a bit of a risk on this trade, but see what happens. No. Maybe should wait till price comes further up. Maybe it'll come back to the bearish breaker, but I'm not sure. I might take it again. No. I'm still bearish. I probably will come back in the afternoon to stream, yeah, because I want to find a trade. I want to find a setup. I'll probably come back at 1:15 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, well, sticking with my plan, those are my 2 trades from this morning, so unsuccessful. And I think it is a tricky morning to trade. Lots and lots of wicks up and down, but see if it goes back for this bearish breaker. It's already 10:36. You know, I prefer to take a trade closer to 10:15, or even when the macro is running at 10 minutes to every hour. No, still not. Like I say, I'm embarrassed. The time is 10:41, so I'm going to come back this afternoon and see if I can't get this. Gosh, this is driving me crazy. I'm gonna go one more time, but no, just feels like it just doesn't want to drop quite yet. Oh my gosh, this price action is just stupid. It's high resistance liquidity, so it's just, anyway, this is just a dumb trade at 10:43 a.m. There are better trades to take, that's for sure. That's it. I'm done. This thing just doesn't want to drop right now. Okay, guys, so I'm going to end the stream for this morning. I'm going to come back this afternoon to see if I can find a trade that's a decent trade. If not, tomorrow will be better at price action because we've got red folder news. Thursday and Friday we have red folder news. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining me this morning, and I'll see you next time.